Hey everybody, so I am in the process of making I think 4 micro TNs, and I thought I would go ahead and record myself as much as I can. Although I do have a tutorial, like one of my first tutorials as far as the TN series that I have a whole playlist. I'll link it below. But this is a little different because the size is, first off, is going to be different because I'm making these to fit these Dollar Tree notebooks. And these measure 3.25 by 4.5. So in my previous tutorial on how to make these, the measurements were according to a more, I guess, proper sized micro, which, let me, where's my paper? Oh, here it is. I'll let you know in a second. Which is also considered size 0 and a nano, I believe. Is it nano? Let's see. So, a teeny tiny, it's shorter than a passport. It's considered micro, nano, number 0, or just 0. And the size is normally 2.75 by 4. When I was making it, I rounded it off to 3. So I made it a 3 by 4. If you actually have notebooks this size, then you're going to make this according. Make it according to whatever size you want. I used to cut these down to 3 by 4, which is a pain in the butt. So I started leaving them as is. I'm still calling them a micro because they're pretty close. And yeah, so I make my covers according to this. And I make it to fit about this much stuff, but it's normally like 2 books. I don't know if I had 2 lined books and 1 blank. I think it was that. I do cut down my blank ones because I never find them without lines. Excuse me. Or you could just make your own. So I kind of take a stack of stuff that I know I'm going to be putting in, and that's when I first come up with measurements for like the width, the height, and all of that. So when I did the last batch that I sold in my Ziba shop, I'll link it below, my cover is measuring 5 by 8 1/4. So what I'm using here, and I have like a whole stack, I'm trying to use up a lot of the stuff that I have picked up, and this is all from Hobby Lobby. All of this. It's sold where I want to tell you where the felt is sold, okay? And if it's not there, then let me think. No, it's where the felt is, right, literally next to it. So, and they have other patterns. I used last time the vinyl stuff. Looks like pleather, and it was like animal print. So, here's one sticker, one of the ones that I had cut. And I think all of these are about the same price. $1.67, $1.67, yeah. And I honestly don't know if they ever put it on sale because I've never caught it when it was on sale. So I'll have to check that out next time. Although I'm not going to buy any more for a while because I need to go through this stack. And I still have the rolls of the other stuff, the faux leather. But these measure 8.3 by 11.7. Okay, but the width is close to what I need. It is just a little bit over 8 1/4. So I'm actually going to leave that extra. It's like a line or 2 past that, just for trimming purposes because I don't always make things even. So I'm going to leave that extra until I'm done. And it's okay if you leave extra because then you got room for your pen and all that kind of stuff. Is everything here? Alright, so I'm going to do my original method with the hot glue. I am sick. I don't want to be spraying adhesives, and the adhesive doesn't always work. I think it would work with this material, but when I was using it on the other one, it's kind of like a felt backing. It wasn't adhering. It was just sucking it up and not doing anything. So, and then I even tried E6000, and when it was the same thing, it was just sucking it up. But it should work with this. There is an E6000 spray if you want to try it. I'm going to try that next time. I saw it at Walmart. I know they have sprays for fabric, but this is like a canvas material. And then this softer one, it's like canvas too, but a more softer, thinner canvas. And then the ones that look like vinyl was more closer to a felt backing. So, you know, different adhesives are going to work differently, but I haven't had any issues with the hot glue method. You do need a lot of hot glue. You do have to quickly put your glue down and press down so you don't get ridges and stuff, because, you know, the hot glue has, when it's dry, it leaves where you'll see it, you know, it leaves bumps and stuff. What else? I mean, everything else is going to be the same thing. It's just the way you cut it down and measure it accordingly. And I am going to be adding pockets, because when I did them last time, I did like the way the pockets came out. So we'll do that again. I just couldn't remember how I did my pockets. I'll have to look it up again because I can't remember. I don't have any to look at. Sorry for that stupid chair. I think it's just my big buns have made my chair squeaky. Okay, so I'm just going to put down my mats. And this is just so I don't get the hot glue all over my... And this background here is from Hobby Lobby too. It's a poster board. It's just like cardstock, but a thick cardstock. Alright, so you'll need your material. And if you could sew on this stuff, then please do so. Because I can't. I know how to sew and I could do straight lines, but with this material I have no idea what kind of needles I need or anything, and if I'm going to do it by hand, that's not going to happen because of my arthritis. So anyway, you'll need two pieces, one for the front and the back, and I've decided to go with the thinner silver, finer on the inside, and then this rough glittery for the outside. I think the two go together, and I'm doing these blingy things more for Valentine's. And they're going to again measure 5 by 8 1/4. Remember that I'm actually using 8.3, which is just a little more. I'm just using the width of the actual material. And then if you're going to add pockets, I'm going to be using the rest, not all of it, but I'm going to use the same one on the inside for my pocket. And I think I did a angled pocket. So I don't know if I'm going to do the same thing. I'll look in my shop where I had the sold ones, or my video, whichever one. My glue gun is on the side heating up. Now I did cut this material very easily with this, so, but I did turn it upside down, so I cut it through this part first and just ran it a couple times, and it cuts perfectly, just to get my straight lines, because I suck at cutting straight lines. Alright, and you can hear me, I'm getting over this cold or whatever it was. It never really hit me hard like some other people. It seems to be really bad. The flu season now, it's like crazy. And people are even dying. So if you're sick, do not wait to get really, really bad and then go to the doctor and, you know, because people have been dying because they've been waiting too long. It's sad. Alright, so let's see what this inside looks. Okay, so yeah, I did do and I think for this micro, that's probably a good idea to do the little curved. I don't know how it would work with the side pocket, but we can take a look into that. And I literally hot glued the entire thing, even the pockets. And they seem to hold well. Alright, so we are going to put this together. I'll probably speed it up a bit because, again, I've done this process before. I'm going to use my long sticks of glue because you will go through a lot. I'll just keep these ready. And I think, because I always get crooked, I might just hold one end with a clip. Maybe. I think it's holding. I don't know why, but I do start from the middle and then I just work my way out both ways. And this is the part where you're going to, that's going to be your spine. So I kind of make sure that I put enough, and I meant to do that quickly. Quickly press it down. And later on, when you're done doing the main part, you're going to go around and do the edges too, because when you fold this and with the holes and everything and the booklet's pulling and stuff, it wants to come apart. So yeah, you want to make sure that the edges, especially here and then here where the elastic will be, is all glued in. Now I think that on this particular material the E6000 would work, and the spray, because I think, I don't know, I haven't tried it yet, and maybe when I'm feeling better and I make more of these, I might just go ahead and try and spray it and see what happens. Okay, I'm just making sure, and this is the inside. I'm not too worried about how that's gonna look, and although you won't even see it on this particular material, I probably should have used something else. But on this side, I personally can see ridges. So if that was going to be on the outside, you know, you're trying to avoid that. So you really want to be fast with the hot glue if you're going to use hot glue. Okay, so I'm going to just keep going. And right now I'm just going to shut up and then speed this part up. Okay, so you see how it's a little bumpy? Yeah, you don't want that on the outside. But that's because that material is thinner, and had I used like this, would have been a lot better. You wouldn't see it. So if you can find another way of adhering it other than with the hot glue, then please do so. Now you're probably not gonna see that much anyway, because I'm gonna put pockets in here. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna check all my little edges. Actually, I'm gonna trim. Let me do this first. Let me get the obvious parts first, and we're just gonna go in and put the hot glue. And don't worry about getting it outside. It's okay. It's actually better if it goes on the edge. But let's just get all the obvious parts here. In this corner here, it's going to get cut off anyway, but still, I'm going to put some and take off all that, because we're going to round these corners. Let's see here. I know there's some right here. So we're just going to fill that in. Especially around the area where, you know, the middle part of the top and the bottom, because that's going to be the part close to your holes. I'm going to trim all the extra later, and you might not see it now. It might come apart later, so even after you've put your elastic, you can still go back and add the glue if it puckers up on you and opens. Okay, almost there. And then I'm going to trim everything with scissors, because like I said, the material was stretching a little bit on me. glue everywhere. Okay, for now I'm going to leave it like that. Let me go with the scissors, clean up this a bit. Oh my gosh, flying glue strands. Okay, so let's see my time. Now I'm just going to take my scissors, and I keep forgetting that they're up here now on my wall. We are going to go and trim wherever we see the white and any fibers that might be coming off. First, I'm going to do the one side, and then I'm going to turn it over and do the other side if there's anything, because you might see it on both sides. Trim any glue that's showing. Now the cool thing is with this material, even though it's glitter, it really doesn't come off, except for like the parts that you're cutting off. So they put a nice adhesive on there. I don't know what they use to keep that glitter from coming off. Alright, now we're going to flip it and check the other side, which I can see. And then after you cut, you're going to check again if you need any more hot glue anywhere. Let me do my rounded corners. I'm just going to do a little bit, not too much. Alright, so I don't remember exactly the size of my pocket, so that's something I'm going to figure out now, and then I'll write it down. But here's the main thing, okay? It's so pretty. And I'm going to go ahead and do my holes, put my notebooks, and then I'll know where my pocket's going to go. And I do use Crop-A-Dile because that's what I have, and I use the smallest setting on here, which is the 1/8 setting, and then I'm gonna do holes so that there's 4 elastics. And with this particular material, it's easy just to fold this in half to find my middle, or I'm gonna do it the other way so I can use my marker. You don't need to mark it. If you can eyeball it, it's fine. But I'm going to find my center, and I'm going to mark a hole that's about, I think that's like 1/4. I'm going to try to do this like this and see what happens. So that's about 1/4 inch in. I never mentioned this before, but I try to keep my spacing from the holes, you know, apart as far as the width. So the hole should be the width of your inserts of the, I want to tell you the smallest, because sometimes you put bigger ones, but it could be of the biggest. I don't know. So I'm guesstimating about here. And I'm going to start with that because it might wipe off, so we'll just do that first hole first. Okay, and then I'm going to do the other middle one just to get it out of the way. Usually I'll do both left and right too, but just about maybe there. That looks like about a 1/4 inch. Okay, set up my mark. It's hard to see with all the glitter, all the bling. Alright, so we got the 2 there. Now I'm just going to go ahead and do one on the left and the right and top and bottom. And then we'll do the middle. Also about a 1/4 inch apart. And I never get them all perfectly even. You can always measure it out. Use your ruler, make them all even. Alright, so now we're going to find the middle. And how did I do it last time? I think I just folded it. Did I fold it this way? I know our middle is this way. I might have just measured it out. And it's 5 inches in width, so we're going to do 2.5. Yeah, I did measure it out. So we're going to mark it, fold that in half, make sure it's in half. 2.5, which is about there. And I'm going to look at it, make sure that it lines up. If I can see my line, I barely see it. Yeah, it's a little too far off. Actually, I could just do this. I don't know why I didn't. Duh, Louisa. You can just put your ruler to the holes. 5 inches. 2.5. Sometimes I overthink things, and I can barely see that. That's okay. And here comes Miss Haley again. Where's my mark? Sorry for the tail in the way. I hope I didn't move. I think we're good. Yeah, we look good. Alright. So, let me put this. You want to smell that? Is it okay with you? You want to smell that too? Watch out. Psst. Excuse me. I need a sip of water. Alright, so I haven't decided my elastic yet, but I guess I'll do silver with this one. But I think I don't need to put that in yet. I could just do this, maybe. So, it's estimating, even though there's going to be more stuff going in here. Alright. You see how we have this space here? It's perfect for a pen that's probably not going to stick out much. I love this color. Alright, so I have to figure out my pocket. And you could always do like a mock one with just some scrap paper, which I don't have scrap paper out. How could I not have scrap paper? I always have scrap paper. Hold on. What are you doing? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do, girl? Okay. That's my paper. Here's one. Come here. I try to pull one and they all come out. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're going to do a faux pocket for now. I'm going to cut it a little bigger than that. And your angle could be, it could be less or more, or straight. You know, that's up to you. So let's see. Does that look good like that? I think that's good. Alright, so we're just going to perfect this a little bit. You want to have enough room because we're going to use hot glue, or if you're going to sew it, you're going to lose some of this. So, you know, make it just big enough. Then later on, we're going to cut the little round ends too. So let's just do this. And you can also make your pocket this way. But, you know, things could slip out every time you open and they just kind of slide down. That's what happens to my bigger one. We'll just leave it this way. So you take your material and we're going to do this 2 times. And since I already have a nice little straight corner here, I'm just going to trace it. I'm going to do one piece and the other piece here. I'm trying to make sure I'm in frame because the camera, I've yet to get used to the camera being on the left, and I'm trying not to hit the arm. I hit it more when it's on the right. Okay, so those are our 2 pockets. You want to make sure you do one way and then flip it and do the other side for left and right. Again, shape it however you like. If you want it straight, you can do it straight. So we're going to cut within the marker line. And other pens and markers do bleed, so it might spread out. So just make sure you just cut within that ink. There's one pocket. Here's my other one coming up. Okay, and I'm going to put that to the side because I think I'm done with that material. So now we're going to go ahead and put our pockets in. I am going to first, oh my gosh, this is such a glitzy glam thing. I'm going to first cut this little notch following my, also when you're doing this, make sure you pick out what's top and bottom. And I think because this is just an overall glitter, you can't see nothing. It doesn't really matter. But on some occasions, sometimes one side looks better than the other. So that's that side, and then this side. I'm going to cut my hand here. I don't like this little thing right here. There we go. Okay. So this one goes here, and this one goes here. Now as far as the width, the width of this is going to depend on how much you're going to put in there. If you're going to use this as a wallet, and you're not going to need all the booklets and stuff in there, and all you need is some pockets and maybe one booklet or a calendar, just adjust the width. You don't need to have it so wide. My original version was only 8 inches, and even then I used a lot. I put a lot of stuff in there. So, like I said, take what you're going to be putting in there and guesstimate, you know, how much you actually need. Because if you're going to be throwing this in your purse or whatever, you don't need the extra bulk. So I like to make mine pretty chunky. Alright, so now take our hot glue or sew it, whatever you're doing, and I'm going to do one side first because this stuff dries fast, and then I'll come in and do the other side. And I really don't care if there's seepage. Sometimes I actually want that, and before it dries I'm going to just smear it on the edge, and then I'll come back and clean it up with my scissors. That actually helps to get, you know, from getting any more fibers. The canvas does get, like, you know, strings and stuff sometimes. So, and that wasn't hot for me, but you know, if you want, you can use a little protector. I don't think I've ever tried gluing onto this, so you do want to check and make sure that it's going to stick. This is, I think this is the first time I'm using, maybe not, I don't know. It might not be. So if it peels off, no worries. Try again with some other kind of adhesive. If this peels off for me, then I'll try to scrape off the glue, and then we'll try the E6000. Alright, I'm just going to put down the second one. I was having technical difficulties. I'm just going to go ahead and glue the whole thing. I think it would be easier. Just have to do it fast. And make sure you press down those corners really fast, because it won't stick very well. It is hot glue, so there's always a chance of things coming apart, but guess what? You just gotta hot glue it back on. I always say whenever I sell my stuff that it is handmade by me. They're not perfect in any way, so you know I'm not a professional. I don't make those fancy traveler's notebooks that they sell in Etsy shops and stuff, or really fancy ones that, you know, I did the research as far as how much they sell those real leather ones and the really pretty ones and stuff. I'm just cutting all the excess here, and it is very pricey. I'm telling you, I found I won't say names, I won't say brands. I'm not trying to put down any of these little companies, but you can spend hundreds of dollars just on one, just buying your cover, you know, and getting all the pockets and inserts. And yeah, so if you got the money, go for it, because they're really nice. They're gorgeous. You got a lot of options. They're durable. You know, they're built better than mine. But if you're just starting out, or if you don't have the money to go out like that, just make your own. Or buy mine. Okay, so I'm thinking we're good here. Again, these are just hot glued in. If you're doing it this way and you start to use it, don't pull on the stuff hard, because it'll come off. I'm trying to get this little glob here. Alright, but for the most part, you can slip things in here without it coming apart. But if you really do stick your hand, jam it or whatever, it could just separate. But guess what? Just hot glue it back. So earlier I had seen somewhere a little opening that I want to fix, so we're going to do that before I forget. I'll probably have to do some more trimming. I'm just going to spread that glue on my edge there. And you might find some more later after you put it all together too. So just keep your hot glue on till you're done. Till you're done inserting everything and closing it. Okay, so I'm going to have to measure those pockets for you, just in case. I don't do measurements very well, but if you saw how I did it. So these particular ones, that's funny. It's actually almost 2.5. 2 and it's not 3/4, whatever. 2. That's like a half, but an extra 1/8 of an inch. I'm gonna just put it close up for you so you can see. But if you want to make it easier, just do it 2.5. And then this way, it was 3 1/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8. I guess that would have been 5/8. 2 and 5/8. 3 and 1/8 this way, and then just angle it however you like. I'm gonna write that down. Just because. 3 and what did I say? 1/8. All right, just to keep that handy. Of course, I won't be measuring when I'm doing mine, but alright, so we've got that. Normally I would do all my covers before I just keep going, but I'm going to go ahead and run my elastic And I'm not sure if I had a different, I think the elastic was about the same as last time. So this one's going to be silver. I find my elastics at Hobby Lobby mostly, and some at Joann's. Here is all my stash. Somewhere there's silver left over. I think there should be enough in this. This actually came from Joann's. It was those Christmas ones. So, and then Irene sent me some too, so but those are going to be for special planners. Alright, so I do kind of measure about how much elastic I need so I'm not wasting too much. Let me unplug my phone. And I wrote down 22 inches. That was my more recent one, so that's what it should be now. So about 22 inches, you might be cutting off extra. I think you will. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Cut off there. And then for the other one, I wrote 10, but that's the old version. So I'm going to wait a sec. I'm going to run everything through, put my booklets in, and then see how much I need. Okay, and I've done this a million times on camera, but we'll do it again. I've got 3 holes on the top and the bottom. This is my inside. I usually go from the outside and run the elastic through the middle hole. Then I'll hold it. So this is your center where you would make a knot. So I'll hold it, you know, just so there's an extra for a knot. And you can always move it around later. So now that's the one you ran through, but you're going to go back to the end again, and you're going to pull it through. I like to always go to that next hole over, the one that's on the left side, and then run that through, whoops, from the outside in. And now we're going to go down to the coordinating hole on the bottom. Oh my gosh. And run it through from this hole to the opposite, from the inside out. So that's going to go out my bottom here. Then we're going to go back into the middle and pull. Okay. And I like to keep it, you know, taut, but not too tight. I don't want it to bend over. Now we're going to go from, I just turned this around, okay? So from that middle hole to the other one where we have that piece that we're hanging on to, and we're going to go from the inside out. I'm flipping this over again and going now to that right side hole from the back out. Follow straight down in, and I might have to, I don't think I have enough, so I might have to do some pulling here. Now I'm going to go right back to that middle one again, and this is where the 2 ends are going to meet, but I don't have enough on one end, so I'm going to have to pull. Alright, because I don't have an even, oh maybe I do, just a little bit. So we're going to pull a little bit this first one, just a little bit, and just tighten up everything. Okay, there. So now it's a little more even and I can make my knot. And I just make a simple, if you feel like you need more to work with, go ahead and, you know, cut and add an extra inch when you cut. Instead of 22, make it 23. So you have that extra, but this is just right. And again, you're going to change your measurements according to the size of your TN. Alright, and I'm not trimming it yet, but later on I will trim it down a little bit. Okay, so we've got our middle, and that's how that looks there, and that's where you can hang your dangles. Now let's, I'm going to open these up. I don't have to do that, I could just leave it. I'm just going to put this in, and then I'll see how much I need. So I'm going to cut it about here. That's probably more than I need, but it is, let's see, 12, 13, 14, 15 and a half. 15 and a half. And then we'll test it out. Let me write that just in case. That's a good number. I like to keep that just so I know each time and I could just cut a whole bunch. So take that middle one, that's your strap or your, whatever that's called. And you're going to make a loose knot. You don't want to tighten it yet. Okay, say around there. And run it through your center hole from the inside out. And then we're going to test that out. It's like super loose right now. I think it's going to be too loose. So let's just put some inserts in there. This is all I have right now. Okay, it's not open. Alright, I'm just going to do the 4. Whoops, sorry. Dang it, I keep hitting it. I'm going to go ahead and just throw in all 4 booklets. Just to test it out. And then I'll get a better idea. I think 15.5 is probably too much. You probably could do 14.5 or maybe just 15. And these should fit snug. They shouldn't be loose and moving around. See, they're all nice and snug for me. This is where you'll see if your center right here is nice and stuck down. It'll come apart if it's not. And so far it looks like it's sticking good. So, looks like I did a good gluing job. This, yeah, it needs a little bit. See right here? Right there, it's missing. Oh, my battery's dying. And yeah, I gotta tighten that up. Alright, so I am going to tighten this up. Hopefully I have enough battery power so you can see. And then I'll come into, I'll do the other items too for this. The usual dashboards and shaker. That's nice. That's good right there. So I think you could just do 15 or 14.5. So we are going to tighten that up. I'm going to cut off. I would say 15. Just give yourself, you know, a little extra. And it's hard to do with the inserts in already, but and I wanted to sorry, I wanted to show you this real quick before my battery dies. Okay, but it's not going to have all those inserts. Oh man, got a little loose again. I'll fix that off camera because I'm going to choke to death. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.